right, guys, welcome in to another sports podcast. This week we've got Week 14 NFL Power Rankings and Games, and you know exactly what we do here, guys. Welcome in, welcome in. My name, of course, is Big Nate, aka Always Trigger. I'm gonna get you my power rankings where we go 32 to Team 1, which concludes in my top 10. I've got the Week 14 game slate for you. Get those top 5 games of the week so you know what games are on my radar. Let's go ahead and start off with that basement, guys. All right, at 32, I have the Jaguars. 31, the Detroit Lions, getting their first win of the season. 30, the Houston Texans. 29, Jets. 28, Panthers. 27, Chicago Bears. 26, Seattle Seahawks. 25, New York Giants. 24, Saints. 23, Falcons. 22 is the Philadelphia Eagles. And 21, the Minnesota Vikings. Go ahead and switch this over to my article view here for you. My article, of course, guys, in the description below. If you want to go ahead and read each and every single team's blurb, you can do that there. You can go through the history of the weeks and see how your favorite team may have progressed through my rankings as the weeks have gone on. Very interesting here in the basement. Of the 32 NFL teams, there are 19 of them that are 500 or better. So fitting. Part of the NFL that does not have a winning record is on your screen before you now. Or if you're listening, you heard all their names. The biggest event to talk about here, of course, the Lions getting their first win of the season. They pulled that off against the Vikings, bringing them down into the basement with them. Go figure. Way to go there, Detroit. That was an excellent game, a walk-off touchdown. If you didn't see the highlights of that, I suggest that you watch that, especially because you may not see another Lions victory in a long time. That one was 364 days apart, those Lions victories, this one and the last one that they had. Other than that, in the basement, not a whole lot to talk about. The Seahawks, of course, getting that win. They moved up 3 spots. They really didn't perform too excellent. They got some big plays, and that was a sloppy game they had played with the 49ers. And the Jaguars, they are now the new bottom of the league simply because their offense, as mentioned on this podcast numerous times, is about as pathetic gets. They scored their only touchdown against the Rams on a drive that was kept alive by a Jalen Ramsey 15-yard penalty. Let's get right on over to the Fringe. So at 20, I have the Denver Broncos. 19, the Cleveland Browns. 18, the Raiders. 17, the Steelers. 16, there lies that outlier, the only team that's not in the basement with a losing record, the Miami Dolphins, who have won, I believe, 5 games in a row. 15 is the 49ers. 14 is the Washington football team. They are on a significant winning streak as well and surging. Bengals at 13, 12 is the Colts. They're playing excellent, and 11 is the LA Chargers. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at these teams here. Of course, the Broncos fell. They lost to the Chiefs. That was a tough game for the Broncos. Teddy Bridgewater, he's serviceable. It's the best thing I can say about him. 22 for 40, 257. He did throw 2 interceptions in this game. They did put in the backup quarterback at one point. Javonte Williams, I thought, played a great game in out there. He had 23 carries, 102 yards. The Broncos can look good from time to time. At the end of the day, they are in a very tough division. Let's go ahead and talk about that NFC East. So, we have to definitely talk about the NFC East. Cowboys have moved back up into the top 10, and the number 2 contender, Washington football team, sits here in the Fringe. I figured this is the most appropriate time to talk about the NFC East. The Eagles have an outside chance of getting into this mix. If they can string together some wins, they do play quite a few divisional games. The Giants, for the most part, are pretty much out of this. So we'll stick to the Eagles, Washington football team, and the Cowboys. The Eagles and Washington football team both have 6 victories. The thing that keeps these teams so separated is the fact that Washington has been playing very consistent as of late, winning 4 in a row. They continue to dominate on time of possession and on third down. I think the Washington football team is playing some of the best ball. Other than that, you have got a couple teams here, the Bengals and the Chargers, who played an epic game that was full of turnovers and sacks. I think the Bengals-Chargers game really showed how young these teams are. And with these teams being so young, how sometimes games can get the best of them. They don't always play the full 60 minutes at their potential. I think both these teams are about a year out from being serious Super Bowl contenders. Now, that being said, they're very much in the fold, and you never know. This experience could go a long way in helping them next year. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump right into the top 10. At number 10, I've got the LA Rams. I think the Rams are a very strong team. They got back on track finally. They did beat the Jags, and that was kind of just what they needed to play a team like the Jaguars to kind of get back on track. Now, their next opponent, and we'll get to them in a little bit, is not going to be easy. All right, number 9, the Buffalo Bills. Some concerns there with their run defense. I'm not personally concerned about their offense. I think when the weather is not absolutely horrid, that the Buffalo offense is going to be able to function just fine. I am a little concerned about how soft they are in the middle of their defense and giving up tons of yardage on defense in the middle. And number 8, the Tennessee Titans. Not much to say here. The Titans on bye week. They still are one of the more dominant teams in the NFL. Hopefully they've gotten healthier through the bye week as they prepare for their next game. Number 7, the Dallas Cowboys. So surging back up here, the Dallas Cowboys. They won in the Superdome. That was not an easy place for them to win, beating the Saints. I think the Cowboys defense got back to what they were doing before, where they got plenty of turnovers, as well as the Dallas Cowboy offense looking more like itself, getting their wide receivers back. Number 6, the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Baltimore Ravens really blew it against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lamar Jackson has been a little careless with the ball, and that is slightly concerning. He does need to get that under control. The division is there for the taking for the Ravens. I still believe in them. They just have to close it out. That Marlon Humphrey injury, that is going to be something to keep an eye on. How is their secondary going to look or change now that Marlon is hurt? Number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs have catapulted themselves up into the top of the NFL, and they're playing some of their best ball of the season. They're not doing everything correct, but they're doing everything that they can to win games. And this Chiefs team looks very different than the past Chiefs teams, and people have to understand that that is who they are this year. I think a lot of times in the NFL, a lot of people in general, when viewing a team, like to look at the past, whereas I'm very much so focused on what this team looks like today. All right, number 4, the Green Bay Packers. So they enjoyed their bye week, and they come back to it here 4 games ahead of second place Minnesota. That division's pretty much locked up. Green Bay looking to make a push here for the number 1 seed. Very solid team. All right, number 3, the New England Patriots. Man, it was very hard not to put them number 2. I'll tell you that. The Patriots have now won 7 games in a row. That is right. They were at 2-4. They are now 9-4. 7 games in a row. The New England Patriots, who are leading the AFC. I did not expect to be saying that. All right, number 2, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They played a tough game against a divisional opponent there. Tom Brady did have a very uncharacteristic pick 6 that left the Falcons in that game. The Falcons typically do always play the Buccaneers tough. At the end of the day, Tom Brady has his guys. He's got Gronk. He's got Mike Evans. He's got Godwin. It's going to be very hard to stop the Buccaneers. And the number 1 overall team, the Arizona Cardinals. You can't knock them off. Extremely impressive. For example, I was watching the tape of their last game very early in the first quarter. The Arizona Cardinals, 4th and 2. They were about 25 or so yards out. Run a boundary right up the right side throw to Hopkins on 4th and 2. Just goes to show you how confident the Arizona Cardinals are playing, how they don't take games off or take anything for granted. They go out there and they attack and they play excellent football. First team to double-digit wins. All right, guys, let's get you over to the game slate. Week 14 games here. Kick you off on Thursday like we always do. Thursday night football game is Pittsburgh at Minnesota. At that Sunday 1 p.m. slate, we got Baltimore at Cleveland, Jacksonville at Tennessee, Las Vegas at Kansas City, New Orleans at the New York Jets, Dallas at Washington, Atlanta at Carolina, Seattle at Houston. The pair of 4 or 5 games are Detroit and Denver, and the New York Giants at the LA Chargers. The 425 games are San Francisco at Cincinnati and Buffalo at Tampa Bay. Sunday Night Football is a rivalry game there. You got Chicago and Green Bay. Monday is the Rams and Arizona Cardinals. And the 4 bye week teams this week are Indianapolis, Miami, New England, and Philadelphia. So leave those up there for a quick second before we get you over to my top 5 games for week 14. Number 5, 49ers and Bengals. So a 6-6 team versus a 7-5 team. Both these teams, guys, injured and inconsistent. Got the 49ers dealing with some injuries with Debo. You got the Bengals, of course, with Joe Burrow and his pinky. Both teams have been playing up and down all year long. Obviously, you can tell by their records. And I expect this game to be super exciting. I don't think you should take your eye off that game for one moment. I think it's just going to be a fun one to watch. Number 4, Ravens and Browns. I'm sure we can go back into the catalog of all the times the Ravens or Browns have showed up here, and they probably showed up here. I believe it was the number 1 game one of the weeks. You can't pass up on a good old Ravens-Browns game. That's just going to be a tough defensive game. It's just fun football for me to watch, and I'll definitely be enjoying that one. Number 3, Cowboys in Washington. This is a good divisional race game here. You've got the Washington football squad that have won quite a few games there in a row, I believe like 4. And the Dallas Cowboys, who are looking to get back on track, getting most of their pieces back, and having a little bit of that extra time being they played in Week 13 on a Thursday. So very much going to be a competitive game there. Number 2, the Rams and Cardinals. It's tough. Almost wanted to put that game number 1. That's a Monday night game right there. 2 extremely strong teams. 2 teams that are at the top of their division there. That'll be a great way to end Week 14. And number 1, the best game of the week. The Buffalo Bills and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a heavyweight match. You've got the Bills looking to rebound. Hopefully the weather's a little better. Their offense can get going. You've got the Buccaneers. They typically don't run as much, so that should kind of play into it for the Bills. I think that's going to be an extremely competitive game. Tom Brady has a very good record versus the Bills. Storylines go on and on. I'm sure being that it's a CBS game, I can almost guarantee you Tony Romo is going to be calling that game. So there you have it, guys. Those are my top 5 games of the week. Got you all ready there for Week 14, as I promised you I would. Guys, thank you so much for watching, especially my family, my friends. You guys know exactly who you guys are. You guys are the best. Make sure to hit that like, comment, subscribe. Go ahead and let me know down below. What up? Peace out, guys.